Today's practice, again, focuses a lot on play, but also finding balance within the energy of rest, relaxation. Because in order to play, it's kind of like what our parents told us when we were little, that we had boundaries within our play. Even a game board has certain rules that you have to abide by in order to keep you safe, right? So we can think of that just like our yoga practice as well, that this element of play that we enter into with lightheartedness still has boundaries to respect our space and energy. While you're here in Shavasana, maybe you want to take one hand to your heart, the other to the belly. Continue to breathe softly. Maybe you want to sigh out through your mouth. And envisioning what you define play as. So play can mean different things on a daily basis. Some days it might mean a walk in the park. Other days it might mean finger painting or anything that allows you a creative outlet. Allow yourself to envision in your mind's eye that lighthearted feeling. And it might be helpful to envision a specific moment where you felt this sense of lightheartedness, this sense of freedom. And really download that feeling into your body, especially for this practice today. And I'll be offering different cues to help you move safely into different poses so that we can still play, but still honor our body where it's at. Take another big breath in through your nose and exhale, sigh out through your mouth. Draw your knees in toward your chest. Give yourself a big tight squeeze. Maybe you hug a bit harder or even offer yourself a smooch to each knee. Mwah, mwah. I hope you could hear my smooch even on audio. And we'll move towards a supine twist just to create some decompression. Send your left leg long towards the ground, maybe a bend at your knee. You can plant the foot and draw your right knee over towards the left side of your mat. We'll continue to hang out here for a couple breaths. And if you'd like, you can also place a block underneath that bent knee for extra support. Come back towards the center. Give yourself another big hug. Round your nose up to meet your knees. And supine twist towards the other side now. So right leg send it long or whatever leg that you didn't do. And cross your left leg over. So again, we'll be working a lot into some different variations to move us into dancer pose. We'll take some half moons. Just finding, again, playfulness, but also experiencing balance, not just physical balance, but also balance with the energies. Come back towards the center. Draw your knees back in toward your chest. Let's go for a brief bridge pose just to help lengthen out your lower back. Drop your feet down, press your hips up towards the ceiling. Maybe you want to interlace your hands underneath and drop your fist down into the mat. And really try to turn on your whole entire leg. So even shift your weight towards your heels, squeeze into the glutes. Slowly release the hips down, happy baby pose. So allowing yourself to continue to open up your hips in a nice, gentle manner. You can take peace fingers around the big toes, maybe hands on towards the outer edge of your feet. You don't even have to draw your feet up high towards the ceiling. You can even draw your knees wide and just allow your knees to go out towards the side. Be here for about 2 more breaths, maybe adding on some movement while you're here. Draw your knees back and toward your chest and lift your legs up high towards the ceiling. So within this element of play, there's also that tendency to move towards work mode. So we'll test it out, trying to find even playfulness in our abdominal work and how we can think about our abdominal work in a different way rather than just purely work, purely fire. Draw your hands by your side body and send that right leg down towards the hover. And how can we cultivate a different relationship with something challenging? Lift back up, inhale. Exhale, left leg down. Inhale, lift it back up. We'll do this a couple more times to send exhale, one leg down, inhale, lift it up. While you're here, continue to move with your breath. Maybe you want to lift your shoulders up, head up. Option to reach the arms forward. So whatever feels like authentic movement for you, and playfulness doesn't have to mean movement. It could also mean completely still. So knowing that you always have the option to take really whatever you want. What's going to bring you that lighthearted feeling? What's going to help push that edge to expand your element of play? Do one time each side to finish it out. And we're back towards happy baby pose. Great place to also straighten your legs, one leg at a time, or even rock side to side. Draw your legs back towards the ceiling. Working now into your Mula Bandha, your lowest core. Barely lift the hips up off the mat. So you can almost envision that you're placing footprints on the ceiling. As a kid, I used to pretend that I would be able to walk on the ceiling anytime that I would be laying down and looking up. So maybe that's where your playfulness comes in this abdominal work. We're going to go for 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees hugging towards your chest. One last round of abs. So almost like you've fallen back into a chair. Knees are going to be bent. Ankles are in line with the knees. Zip the belly button towards the spine so you eliminate the space between your body and the mat. And take your hands towards the top of the quads. So I'll test things out here. At the same time that you press your hands into your quads, press your quads into your hands. And surprisingly, you're going to feel that core turn on right away. And you press into your own degree of how much pressure you want to add. You can continue to stay here or add on bicycle abs to lift your head up. And so the right leg long, right elbow meets the left knee, and then switch it out. Again, while you're here, if you wanted to incorporate some playfulness, I usually like to remind myself to sing row, row, row your boat because it feels like I'm rowing a boat. Or you can sing the Queen song Bicycle. Just having fun with the practice today. Going for 10, switch, 9, switch, 8, switch, 7, switch, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Give yourself a big hug and find the counterbalance of rest. Maybe you want to rock side to side just to massage your lower back out. Finding freedom in whatever breath that you want to exhale out through your mouth. Or continuing to move with Ujjayi breath. We'll meet towards a tabletop position. So switching things up completely, take your time to get there. So we'll be doing a lot of the same movements that we do in tabletop, in downward facing dog, and balancing postures. So we start the foundation here to provide us safety when we move towards a more playful posture, especially when we're standing up. Send the left leg long and back. Zip that belly button towards the spine again. So hips are squared off, gaze is slightly forward, toes are dialed down. Bend your knee, and a couple times just to pump that booty. We'll go for 10 so tiny pulses. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Start to move towards your fire hydrant pose, just allowing your hip to open. And just give me some big circles in towards your hip joint. Reverse your circles opposite direction. Some of the pose names always crack me up. So like fire hydrant, for instance. It's the best visualization, but it just is a really funny visual at the same time. All right, let's move back towards fire hydrant pose. Lift the knee up. So to help support more into the sciatic nerve, draw that left knee behind the right kneecap. So it almost looks like you're going for a Shiva squat, which we will later on. Lift that left knee up. Exhale behind the right. Couple more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale behind the right. Last time, inhale, hold here. Option is straighten that leg all the way out. Then we're going to move towards gate pose. So send that left leg down. So I'm just facing you just for visualization. T-shape through the arms when you're ready to move there. And left hand's going to go towards that elongated leg. Right arm bicep by your ears to get a nice long side body stretch. And everything that we do in this class, really in any yoga class, has a purpose. But it's nice to see how each pose that we'll do later on builds from this place. Right arm down, left arm up, modified side plank. While you're here, you can stay with your leg down, maybe roll your chest open, or lift your left leg up towards the ceiling. Again, you can practice what it's going to feel like when we move towards half moon today. Continue to zip the belly button in. Option to go for sugar cane. Left hand's the grabber. Grab for your left heel. While you're here, maybe you want to draw that left heel towards the glute so you really emphasize the quad stretch. Or you can kick away from your body to get deeper in towards your pec and feel deeper into your back bend. Choose your gaze, either gaze up or down. And whatever you were in, we'll meet back towards gate pose. Arms up, T-shape. Drop the hands down. Cross that left leg over so you're crisscrossing the legs completely. So the ball of the left foot is now down towards the ground. Gaze can either be forward or gaze over towards your right shoulder. So you're going to feel a stretch into your left side body a whole lot. We'll meet back towards tabletop position. Wash it out with a couple rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, look up. Exhale, look down. Moving continually on your own breath, however you want your cat-cow to look today. That was a pretty long sequence in tabletop. We'll get it on the other side in just a second, but still finding rest in between. Let's press back towards a child's pose. Toes together, knees wide. Slide the right arm underneath the left arm. So now you can also stay in child's pose if that's your preference today. Allowing your breath to slow down. Unwind your arms, switch sides. We'll meet back towards child's pose. Knowing that you can come back up into a tabletop position and hang out there, or maybe you want to slide forward towards swan, just to bend your knees, hips drop, chest pulls forward, and press back child's pose. We'll do that a couple more times. Inhale, shift forward. And exhale, press back. Last time, inhale. Last time, exhale. Tabletop position is where we meet. Press back towards your first downward facing dog before we move towards the other side. And just pedal it out one knee at a time. And when you're ready, drop back down towards tabletop. So now we'll move towards the same sequence on the other side, trying not to anticipate anything, but staying present with your breath and body and still incorporating that lighthearted feeling. So removing judgment from this space. Send the right leg long and back. Draw the belly button in towards your spine so your back body feels supported. We'll first pump that glute a bit just to charge it up. Bend your knee. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fire hydrant pose. Open it up. Give some big circles just to move deeper into your hip joint. I'll face y'all this way because it's a lot easier to see what's going on, right? Your next breath, lift it all the way up. Exhale, right knee behind the left kneecap. So again, feels like Shiva squat. Lift the right knee up. Exhale behind your left knee. One more time. Inhale, hold here. Option to kick your leg out straight. Kind of like your Chuck Norris kicking down a door. And then send that right leg down in towards gate pose. So almost looks like a triangle position. Right hand goes for your extended right leg, left arm up. Bicep by your ear. And I've seen different positions with this in gate. So some people like to turn their toes towards the front of the mat. Other people like to keep their toes up towards the ceiling. So find something that works for you in your body. There's really no right or wrong. Continue to support yourself where you're at. Modified side plank, left arm down, right arm up. Again, that right leg can stay down, or maybe you want to lift it up so you're mimicking half moon here. Option as well to go for sugar cane, which we'll cue later on as well, to either take that heel towards the glute or kick and press away. Wherever you're at, release back down, come back towards gate, reach up. And from here, drop your hands back down towards the ground and then cross your right leg behind. So it looks like you're almost doing a curtsy lunge. So the right foot is grounded, right ball of the foot connects towards the earth. Either gaze forward or to really emphasize the side body stretch on your right side body, gaze more towards your left shoulder. So I like to call this sassy pose because we're popping our booty and we're taking a look at the goods towards the back. Again, trying to come up with very unique names to help students remember the pose. We'll meet back towards a tabletop position. Downward facing dog, press back. And gaze forward, tiptoe all the way towards the top of the mat. So now that we set the foundation for this class, we'll move into some sun salutations. Continue to warm up the body. Keep your blocks close by to you towards the top of the mat. And we'll hang out in ragdoll pose for a couple breaths. Hands around opposite elbows. Slowly release your hands down and slow and steady rise all the way up towards the top of the mat. Give yourself a couple big shoulder rolls and maybe even a pat on the back since we're all about being playful today, showing up for ourselves where we're at. Let's move into some sun sals now. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale, step back towards your plank position. Knowing that you can always drop the knees down, maybe stay in tabletop instead. Also feel free to skip the chaturanga. We'll meet back into downward facing dog. If you're coming with me, lower down for your chaturanga. Maybe cobra pose to start off with. We'll do a total of 3 of these for sun salutations. And then when you're ready, press back downward facing dog. Stay here for about 3 breaths. Always the option for child's pose. Your next breath, gaze back forward, step or jump towards the top of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale, exhale, fold down. Inhale, reach up, maybe a slight back bend to press the hips forward. And we'll meet back down, forward fold. We have 2 more sun salutations. Halfway lift, inhale, step back for your plank. Again, feel free to skip your chaturanga or lower down, maybe upward facing dog this time to lift the quads. And downward facing dog, press back. Again, 3 breaths here. Each time that we move into a new pose, we're still given opportunity to move into some lightheartedness, the sense of ease and strength. Gaze back forward, step up towards the top. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, arms high. Exhale, back down. Last time. Halfway lift, inhale. Step back, plank position. Again, move through your chaturanga as the option towards up dog. And downward facing dog, press back. Gaze back forward, step or jump towards the top. This time, grab your blocks. And let's place them towards the highest height. So we have medium height, highest height. So it depends on how tall you are. For me, I'm a pretty short individual. So I prefer the highest height for me to get into what looks like this 90-degree position. So trying to make, we're incorporating some geometry today. So pull that belly button in, chest is lifted, shoulders rolled back. So we'll practice here, moving into what we just did in tabletop position. So send that left leg long and back. So it kind of feels like a warrior 3. Continue to zip the belly button in towards the spine, hips squared off. So we're not adding on too much into this flow. Step that left leg back, high crescent. Inhale, reach your arms up. So maybe a slight bend at that left knee. So you can even see the difference. Depends on how your body's shaped. So for me, my tailbone, my pelvic bowl likes to naturally tilt. So for me, it feels like my lower back is jamming. So it feels better for me to even bend slightly at that left knee when I'm in high crescent rather than straightening it out and my booty's popping, which, I mean, it works in some instances to pop the booty, but not necessarily in yoga. So bend more at that left knee if you feel it into your lower back. Inhale, reach your arms up. Warrior 2, open up. Nice big opening of the hips. T-shape through the arms. And really zip in towards the center line. We're doing a lot with core stability today. And as far as you want to bend that knee, that's up to you. Reverse your warrior, reach back. And cartwheel the hands down, find your blocks again. We're going back towards that standing L, kind of looks like warrior 3, lift up. All right, so we've seen this before when we were in tabletop, left knee behind the right for Shiva squat. Standing L, send it back. 2 more, exhale, behind. Inhale, lift. Exhale, behind, hold here. Chair pose, left leg meets the right. Arms up. We'll practice our balance. Sweep your arms back. Shift forward onto the tippy toes. Drop your heels. Stand all the way up. Big back bend. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Release the hands down. Give yourself a second. I'm going to grab a quick sip of water. Your variation of your forward fold, so you can take peace fingers, you can take gorilla, maybe you want a yoga squat instead. So choose something for about the next 2 to 3 breaths, or maybe you want to grab a sip of water like me. Take your last round of breath wherever you're at. We'll meet towards that halfway lift again with the blocks. So really focusing on that open collarbone. A lot of the times we see that rounding where we're like, oh, well, lifting halfway, but we're doing the exact same thing that we do on a daily basis where we're typing at the computer. So we're really trying to roll the shoulders down the back. And this is where the block comes in really handy to help elevate the chest. Let's move towards your opposite leg now. Send your right leg long and back. Keep the hips squared off. And even if it's not like all the way up, totally okay. You can even keep it slightly down, even toes down towards the earth. So we're just looking for your hips to stay squared, core to stay on, experiencing some balance, especially feeling that left glute turn on. When you're ready, step your right foot all the way back, land down. Sweep your arms up, high crescent. Again, check in with that pelvic bowl. And do you feel it dipping forward, jamming the lower back? And slight bend at that back knee might feel really nice to feel supported in your upper body. Now you can also drop your knee all the way down too. Wherever you're at, let's move towards warrior 2. Open up. Continue to ground down into each foot. Reverse your warrior, reach back. Cartwheel the hands down, find your blocks, back towards standing L. We're using this to help transition us towards Shiva squat. Draw your right knee behind the left, kick it back. 2 more, behind, kick it back. Last time, behind, kick it back. Chair pose, right leg meets the left, arms up. We'll take one time to sweep, option to shift forward tippy toes, drop the heels, inhale, reach all the way up, big back bend. Exhale, forward fold. An option to stay here. You can take your peace fingers or gorilla, maybe a yoga squat. If you did want to add on a vinyasa in between, we will eventually meet back up here where we're at right now. But if you wanted to move instead, if you had some energy that you wanted to shift, move through your vinyasa. And then again, we'll meet back towards the top of the mat in about 2 to 3 breaths. And great place to grab a sip of water because we're going to continue to move through a similar flow, but adding in some different positions. All right. Again, grab your blocks. Lift halfway, inhale. Send that left leg long and back. We'll move a bit quicker through these transitions now. Step back, high crescent. Inhale, reach your arms up. Warrior 2, open up. Reverse your warrior, reach back. And side angle is where we'll meet for about 3 to 5 breaths to hold here. So this will help prep us later for our half moon. So continue to open up into your hip, chest up, left arm high, maybe bicep by your ear. Blocks can also come in handy. Take your block underneath that right hand. Take one more full breath. Reverse your warrior again, reach back. Find your blocks, cartwheel the hands down, back towards your lunge, lift up. Couple times for Shiva squat, draw behind, kick back. Take 2 more, draw behind, kick back. Last time, draw behind, hold. Different transition from here, so I'll turn this way so you can see what's going on. Very similar to what we did earlier in tabletop. We're moving towards a curtsy lunge, so drop that left foot behind, then lift your upper body up. All right. From here, we're going to get a little funky with it. So transition the weight to what almost looks like you're going into tree pose. Lift your arms up. I like to call this Captain Morgan pose. Just move into a standing hip opener. And then take that curtsy lunge back, sweep the arms back. We're going to try for that balance challenge 2 more times. Reach up, left knee high. Exhale, sweep back. Last time, lift up, hold here. One-legged mountain, draw in. So square off the hips. You're almost there, y'all. Chair pose, left leg meets the right. Sweep your arms back. Option to shift forward, tippy toes. Exhale, drop the heels, stand all the way up, reach high, and exhale, forward fold. We're moving right along. Inhale, lift halfway. Swing the right leg back for that warrior 3 leg. Slowly step back, high crescent. Reach the arms up. Warrior 2, open up. Reverse your warrior, reach back. And side angle for a couple breaths. So same opportunities on this side. Maybe you're still feeling your heartbeat like I am from those interesting transitions that we just took. So use this stillness to slow things down, still incorporating strength. Whatever you took, reverse your warrior. Reach back. Cartwheel the hands down onto the blocks. Zip up. Warrior 3 leg. Couple times for Shiva squat. Draw in. Kick back. 2 more, draw in. Kick back. Last time, draw in, hold. We're going for curtsy lunge. Drop that right foot behind and slowly lift your upper body up. Again, from curtsy, we use our glute strength and core to lift up. So lift that right leg up, open up the hip. Exhale, sweep the arms back, curtsy lunge. Inhale, lift up. Ooh, a little wobbly. Exhale, reach back. Last time, lift up, hold. You got this. Draw your right knee in, one-legged mountain. And chair pose. Sink down into the glutes, sweep the arms back, shift forward, tippy toes. Drop the heels, inhale, reach out. And exhale, forward fold, release. Let's all meet towards a yoga squat. Holy moly, my heart rate just went all the way up. I'm gonna grab a block just to sit on for my yoga squat today. Sometimes that helps elevate my heart a bit more rather than concaving down. And we'll use this to, before we move towards dancer in just a second. Half moon and dancer. All of the above. Continue to breathe. Great place to also grab your water, especially if you're sitting on a block. Let's meet back towards that standing position. And we continue to move. Just thinking of this like an experiment. We've done some of these poses into a tabletop position. So knowing that you can always come down towards a tabletop and move into the same positions that we did before. All right. Meet towards a halfway lift again. Send your left leg long and back. Step back, high crescent. Arms up. We'll add on a twist, since we haven't done a whole lot of twisting in this class. Either water wheel to open up the arms, or you can take your hands in prayer, left elbow towards your right knee. From your twist, rise back up, move towards warrior two. Open up the arms. Reverse your warrior, reach back. Triangle pose from here. Straighten out your front leg, right arm down, left arm up. Again, if you'd like to grab your block while you're here, continue to move in towards this hip opener, which will definitely help us out when we move towards those balancing poses in just a second. Slow your mind down. In play, it's so easy to get carried away. I clearly remember anticipating the play, especially on Christmas Eve where I can't sleep. And I'm like, I just want to play. I want to open gifts. I'm so excited. But how can we stay present even amidst play? Reverse your warrior, reach back. Cartwheel the hands down, hit the blocks. Lift up, standing L. All right, here. Draw that left knee behind. Open up to find half moon. So start to lift that hip, kind of looks like fire hydrant, what we did earlier. You can stay right here with the hand on the block, maybe knee lifted, or continue to straighten out your left leg. And while you're here, option to grab for sugar cane. I'm very appreciative of these blocks right now. Wherever you're at, trying to use control to drop back down towards Shiva squat. So left knee behind the right. Here's that fun transition coming up. Left foot behind, curtsy lunge. Sweep your arms back from here. So we're still in that curtsy. Rise all the way back up, left knee up. We're crossing now towards a eagle pose. Left leg over the right. If you wanted to add the arms, maybe give yourself a hug, left arm underneath, or you can go for the eagle wrap. You're like, how did we get here? That was a crazy transition. Sometimes when we're playing, we're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even notice how we got here, but I'm here. Like I promised, we're moving now towards dancer. Slowly unwind. One-legged mountain. Then towards dancer pose. So that right leg probably is tiring out right now. You can either stay with the quad stretch, left knee in, or go for full dancer to reach forward, kick back. Slowly release. Shake it out. To get a stretch on the other leg real quick, we'll enter into tree with the right leg. Right foot in towards your inner thigh line. Just allow that hip to open. So should find a bit of alleviation because we were really working into the right glute. Continue to find balance, even maybe some playfulness with the arms up. Or you can even go for dancing tree. I like to call this hurricane tree, where I pretend I'm waving in the wind. Being from Florida, you got to have those corny yoga jokes that are also relevant to Florida, but also relevant to Georgia. And release, shake it out. All right, y'all, you did it. You got one more side, and then we're all the way down towards the ground. So I know that you know what's coming. Fully release any of the anticipation. Take a couple big breaths here. Come back to the feeling of what it felt like at the very beginning when you were visualizing what play felt like. Just sending yourself that brief reminder before we move into the challenge on the other side. Take a big breath here. Exhale, sigh out. Reach all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Drop your hands towards the blocks. Halfway lift. Inhale. Right leg now. Lift it up. Step it all the way back. Inhale, reach your arms up for high crescent. We'll add on your twist. So it could be water wheel arms with your chest open, arms wide, or maybe hands towards the heart center. Right elbow towards the outer edge of your knee. My stabilizer muscles on this side are already like, Kelsey, you're doing this again? Having that bit of humor to, again, be more open-minded, lighthearted, rather than judgmental of our bodies and now how they're responding. Warrior 2, lift up. Reverse your warrior, reach back. Triangle pose, we'll stay here a couple breaths. I'm going to grab my block. And I love using blocks because it helps elevate the chest rather than just dropping down, not really getting the full open heart. Take one more full breath. If you had your block, place it back up towards the top. Reverse your warrior again, reach back. Cartwheel your hands to find the blocks, lift up. We go for Shiva squat, draw that right knee behind. This preps us for fire hydrant. So we're taking that half moon, left hand stays towards the block. Start to open up that chest, right knee up towards the ceiling. Gaze is down just to help start the balance off. Maybe you straighten out the right leg. Always option to bring your gaze up. And maybe the option for sugarcane. So keep hearing me say options. Know that playtime also includes tons of different variations. Maybe you're in child's pose for your play, or you're in sugarcane. We're moving with control again. Release, drop the right hand back down. Right knee behind the left, back towards Shiva squat. And cross that right foot behind to find your curtsy lunge. Go ahead and sweep those arms back. We're moving to find that Captain Morgan pose. Lift the right knee up and cross your right leg over to set up for your eagle. So you can stay in eagle wrap legs the entire time. I personally love using a block for eagle as well. I didn't cue it on the last time, but you can take your right foot towards the top of the block. Maybe you want to give yourself a hug again, right hand underneath the left, or eagle wrap bind. Last thing that we'll do on this leg is move towards dancer. Lift up towards that one-legged mountain. And swing your leg back to set up for your quad stretch first. So again, you can stay here the entire time or find the equanimity to reach forward as much as you kick back. Slowly release. Shake it out. We have one last balance pose. We're moving tree on the left leg now. So left foot comes up either above the ankle, inner thigh line. Maybe you again kickstand it, but just allowing that hip to open on the other leg. Great place to give yourself a high five here too, with your hands towards heart center. Give yourself a high five, another pat on the back, or maybe you wave your arms around again, like you're having your own personal yoga party. Shift back towards chair. You're like, Kelsey, I thought you said we were done. No, we're using this as transition, y'all. Just slowly lower all the way down to find one very brief high boat. I'm going to keep my feet down for my high boat. And we'll row boat for just a brief second to move left elbow down, right elbow down. Let's do this 3 more times. Lower, lift, exhale right, inhale lift, exhale left, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, hold. Lower all the way down onto your back. Give yourself the biggest squeeze that you can. Maybe another smooch of the knees. Mwah, mwah. You made it to your back body. We'll be here the rest of class to move into some final stretching. Grab your block if you'd like for another bridge pose. We'll be here in bridge for about 5 to 7 breaths, knowing that you can come into bridge without the block, maybe wheel pose instead. But for me, I'm going to be demoing bridge with the block. When you're ready, go ahead and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Might feel different with the mentality now to hold a pose versus how quickly we were moving before. So some different thoughts might pop up when we shift the energies around. Just taking note of that. And slowly release down. If you had a block, go ahead and remove it. Cross your right leg over the left. You can stay here in this pigeon pose variation. Of course, if you wanted to come on your belly, you're more than welcome to, or even lift your legs towards you. We've done a lot in the lower half of the body today. Sometimes we got to do some funky things in order to get into some pretty deep spaces in our hips, especially with the sciatic nerve. One more breath. And switch legs. Left leg now over the right. And whatever variation of pigeon that you took, switch it out towards the opposite side. Really just starting to ground down into the mat. And if we think about where we were moving towards, we did a lot of standing postures, a lot of uplifting energy. We're going to think more about the element of air. Now we're grounding it with earth. And there's so many dualities within this practice, where so many things happen to exist at once. So even amidst our playfulness, we have boundaries. So it doesn't necessarily mean that one is right and one is wrong. multiple things exist at once within our own human experience. Draw your knees back towards your chest. Feel free to take one more posture of your choice that might feel more playful again. It can be something restorative. It can be an inversion. I'm going to go for an inversion in demo waterfall. So even in this more restorative inversion, with a block or without a block, you can find playfulness with the legs to straddle or split the legs, or even act as if you're swimming underwater or pretending to walk on the ceiling. Just finding some sense of freedom and possibility with movement or even without movement. Wherever you were playing, start to move out, remove any blocks that you might have had, and just give yourself a big hug, knees in toward your chest. We'll move in towards a final twist. It could be the same twist that we took earlier at the beginning of the class with supine. You can keep your knees together. I'm going to be cueing eagle wrap legs. So drop both feet down, cross that right leg over the left, and take note if this feels okay on your back, knowing that the other variations are also available. From here, shift your hips more towards the right side of the mat to create space for your lower back, and then drop your knees towards the left side. So that was a lot of different cueing just to move in towards your twist. But once you're there, relax your body, relax your breath. Move back towards the center, unwind the legs. A brief bridge pose just to help lengthen out the back, just to lift the hips up for one inhale, and exhale, lower the hips back down. Same options available on the other side. Cross your left leg over, shift your hips a bit towards the left side of the mat, create space, and then exhale over towards the right. Inhale back towards the center, unwind. We'll meet towards a happy baby pose, one last hip opener, and just providing that length down towards your lower back. So if you notice that your hips are lifting up, Maybe you don't lift the feet towards the ceiling and instead focus on opening up the hips still with knees wide and really concentrating on lengthening the lower back into the mat. Draw your knees back toward your chest. Give yourself one big squeeze. Round your nose to meet your knees. And Shavasana is where we meet, however you want to take your shape for these next few moments that we have. Even finding that visualization that you took at the very beginning of class, that sense of lightheartedness and ease, even amidst the work that was done today. What would it look like to show up in joy during your work day or during some responsibilities that we might have? How can we insert joy just like we did during this practice where we were still working our body, but we were moving and shaping our thoughts a different way? Joyfulness is a muscle in and of itself, right? Where it has to be practiced just like we practice our yoga. It might not always be easy, and it might not always be authentic, but the brain responds to the thoughts and emotions that we have, and it transmutes into our body. In this last minute that you have in your Shavasana, reimagining what playfulness looks like, envisioning maybe a certain experience that you've had, and adding more detail to it to recreate that feeling all the way from the bottom of your toes to the top of your head. Take just a few more breaths here. And exhale, release. We'll find our way up towards a comfortable seat, taking your time to move towards that spot.